Well, hello, it's Miss Gina, and I thought I would read a bedtime story that's out of this world. One giant leap. You're at GinasPlanit. So let's jump right into it. And Bob Burleigh wants you to keep exploring. This book is written by Bob Burleigh, and paintings are by Wimmer. I borrowed this book from some of my friends. Libraries are wonderful places you can find books. July 20th, 1969. I'll move my chair up a little so you can see the picture a little better, maybe. See if I can turn it in there. July 20th, 1969. 70 miles up, the two spaceships, Eagle and Columbia, separate. They orbit in sight of each other one last time. Then the Eagle begins to descend to where no human has ever been, to the moon. The Eagle is like a gold-speckled bug falling out of the sky, its odd-shaped body plastered with many boxes, its outer walls thinner than human skin. The spacecraft's spindly legs poke out as if it rides on its back. At 8,000 feet, it tilts and straightens, breaks its descent, slows, drifts down through space. The astronaut looks out at last. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, they stand upright before two small windows. Their eyes widen. Look, rushing up toward them. The moon. It is gray. It is brown. It is blue-edged. Its billion-year-old landscape is cracked and scarred. Its surface gouged and cratered and pitted with tiny holes, like a battlefield from some ancient war. Here's some pictures. You see the moon? See him in the window? There's the moon. The radio voice crackles from Earth, 240,000 miles away. Eagle, Houston, you are go for landing. Armstrong tenses forward, feeling the seconds tick, aware that the fuel is sinking towards zero. Timing is everything. His gaze darts between nearby rows of switches and the strange world below. Dark ridges rise like forbidding walls. Spidery shadows creep in the rising sunlight. Boulders loom up as big as cars. He glances again at the flashing dial. Fuel running short. Where can he land? Doesn't sound good. Would you want to run out of gas in your car in space? And what if it was an electric rocket? Where would you plug it in? Oh my goodness. I don't think you can get to the sun and plug that in. That might be dangerous. Eagle, 90 seconds of descent fuel left. Armstrong hears the warning. Now, all he has ever learned is focused on this. Nothing matters but this exact moment. Aldrin's nonstop voice calls out altitude numbers. 40 feet, 35, 30. Down they move, down and down. Fast enough to conserve precious fuel. Slow enough to land somewhere safely, he hopes. The eagle dips, hovers, zigs, zags, dances over its own dark shadow. The seconds tick toward eternity. Time stops. Clouds of moon dust swirl like blackening fog. An almost terrifying blindness, and then with only the very slightest bump, the small craft, it's not crate, the small craft touches down. Whew. Whew. Did y'all feel that tension? Oh my goodness, that was stressful. I'm glad they were down. There it is. They landed it, see? Oh, and that looks like the moon. Nope, that's the Earth from the moon. Yeah, see the blues? That's usually water. The eagle has landed high overhead. Michael Collins listens but cannot see. They made it. They made it. The Columbia orbits and waits. Collins has waited a lifetime for this. Yet for him, the waiting is not over. In Houston, on Earth, hundreds in the control room break into wild cheers. Yay! Okay, that was one of them. The first humans on the moon. But in this other place, it is very quiet. It is lunar morning, the sea of tranquility. Armstrong lets out another deep breath and turns. He raises his gloved hand and meets Aldrin's gloved hand halfway. We did it. We're here. There they are, some astronauts. One of my friends used to want to be an astronaut. Exploration time. Armstrong and Aldrin are add still more to their spacesuits. There are new overshoes and heavier gloves. They're new overshoes. Nice. I bet everything's new. A visored helmet to protect against sunlight, and an oxygen-filled backpack thick as a sofa pillow. That's pretty big. They pause to gaze out, an endless, mysterious wasteland whose distant hills are as shapely outlined as nearby shores. That's not what it says. How about nearby stones? Shore sounded good too. But the author chose to use stones. No water, no wind, no sound. Would that be strange if you were somewhere with no water, no wind, and no sound? I know if I was somewhere with no wind today, it'd be a lot warmer. We had temperatures in the single digits. No life at all. Unbelievable. They're alive. The astronauts are alive, but nothing's living on that planet. It's not a planet, it's a moon. My bad. A hatch opens. Armstrong, on all fours, crawls through its small space. He moves awkwardly in his moon cocoon. Outside on the narrow porch, where a ladder is attached to one landing leg, he climbs to the bottom rung and stops. A TV camera placed in the Eagle's hatchway is pointed down. Armstrong knows that back on Earth, hundreds of millions of people are watching. He jumps to the landing leg's round footpad. He holds on. He pauses. He points his foot and steps off. The surface is as fine as powdered charcoal. The treads of his boot leave perfectly crisp print in the dust. On the weatherless moon, it will last for millions of years. His voice sounds staticky and far away. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Those are famous words of that astronaut. In orbit, Michael Collins listens and waits. You see him stepping down? See the Earth over there to the, I think it's your right. It's on my left because I'm backwards to you. Or the book was backwards to me. Now it is Buzz Aldrin's turn. He climbs down, feeling full of goose pimples. Together, the astronauts go moonwalking. Flexing their toes and ankles, they walk stiffly, as if navigating inside a rigid balloon. But moving about is easier than they expect. They whirl like slow-motion tiptoe dancers. They jog, they kangaroo hop, like two boys bouncing on a trampoline. Because of the moon's lesser gravity, they feel light as air. Wouldn't that be fun? I think it'd be fun to go to one of those places that have the weightless rooms where you can just float like you can in space. I think that would be cool. Armstrong checks the time. They must hurry. They have just 2 hours on this strange and beautiful world. They use long metal tongs to collect rocks. Some are slippery with dust. Some sparkle. Some look tan or even purple. The rocks go into 2 large boxes that scientists will open back on Earth. That's pretty cool. They're going to look at these moon rocks. Moon rocks. They try to plant the American flag, but underneath its surface dust, the moon is like steel. They jab the pole into the hard crust. They twist and turn, leaning with all their might. At last, they are able to balance the staff just barely. A rod across the top keeps the flag unfurled. Then click, Armstrong takes a picture of Aldrin saluting the American flag. A surprise call comes from the president. For a priceless moment, all the people on this earth are truly one. A tightness rises in the throats of the astronauts. They feel part of something so much larger than themselves. Oh, and look what they did. See there in his helmet's glass, you can see the reflection as he salutes the flag. There's a reflection of our American flag in his shield. That's nice. Yet soon it is over. They are inside again. This world is not theirs, but their own. Streaks of dirt cover their spacesuits. The smell of the moon dust hits them as they remove their helmets. Oh, sorry, I had to yawn. Like spent cap pistols, they tell each other they have been awake for 18 hours straight, but it feels like much more. They've got to be tired. Can they sleep now? Maybe. It is a shivery cold in the cramped Eagle. Aldrin curls up on the floor. Armstrong lies in a hammock stretched across the room, exhausted. He looks up above him. There is an unshuttered porthole. The earth stares down. A big blue eyeball, he thinks. He blinks back at the bright blue eye, then turns and tries to sleep. I know it would be hard to sleep when you're uncomfortable and it's cold and you're a long way from home. They were a long way from home. July 21st, unease, uncertainty. This is the part they are most afraid of. This is the place where things can go terribly wrong. Armstrong and Aldrin stand quietly in the tiny cockpit. Lift off in 1 minute. Away from here, maybe. The Eagle will split into 2 parts. The upper half must fly up. The lower will stay on the moon, a permanent monument. Will the engine light? Will it keep on burning? I hope so. Do you think it will? Some of us already have a spoiler alert. They try to ease their worries, but there is no escape from this. No backing up, no doing it again, no second try. They know one thing only: failure means death. The second hand winds down. Now or never. Aldrin's voice cuts into the awful stillness. 3, 2, 1. Ascent. At first, a frightening pause. What is happening? Then, bang! Whoosh! Zoom! It feels as if the floor is coming up at them. The Eagle's top half rises like a fast-moving elevator. Its engine leaves a trail of wide, white light. The Eagle soars skyward, silently, faster and faster, 50 miles up, almost a mile a second. Aldrin glances sideways, nods and grins. Yes. Into moon orbit. On our way. They're on their way. There's the flag and the part they left. And they're up and away. There they are. It's going good so far. Look at that picture. That's a cool window. Talk about location. Higher still, Michael Collins peers through this sextant. Still waiting. Where are they? He scans the sky and sees only blackness. The Columbia has been circling now for over 20 hours from the far side of the moon. Collins cannot even radio back to the people on Earth. He squints through the sextant's eyepiece again. There, a tiny blinking light in the darkness. He locks his computer on the distant speck, tracking its approach. The Eagle keeps climbing and climbing up and up. It is like an intricate dance. Columbia leads, Eagle follows, all at speeds of over 3,000 miles an hour. How they fly is in perfect formation, closer. Collins punches hundreds of keystrokes to make the docking work. They touch, they connect, the capture latches snap shut. A small door opens into a tunnel. Look who's here. Welcome. Armstrong and Aldrin come floating through. Here they come floating through. Here we are. It is the final orbit around the moon. Can a photo capture the wonder of what they've seen? Not likely. Still, the astronauts hover beside the Columbia's windows, taking pictures. The spacecraft accelerates. That means it speeds up, goes faster. It curls around the moon's far edge. It is flung free like the tail-end skater in a game of crack the whip. Never heard of it. It soars into the emptiness of space. The astronauts look back with a sad, happy feeling. Hours go by. They can rest at last. They sleep read, talk, play music. Sometimes they glimpse the slowly receding moon. Was it all a dream? No, we were there. We were there. But mostly, their eyes are fixed on another place. Blue, white, light, brown, and shining below them. They want that now more than anything. A planet of oceans and rivers, of grass and green hills. A world of trees and family and friends. They're talking about Earth and their home. Nothing like going home after a long trip, is there? A place called Earth, fragile, beautiful, home. There they are, parachutes. Whoosh. It's the capsule in the water. And there's what Earth looked like, tiny up there. So I hope you enjoyed that book. I know there was a 3-year-old that really liked the cover of this. He thought that was really cool. So I hope he enjoys it as a bedtime story tonight. So I want you to read more in 2024. I think this is a great book for a gift too. If you have any space lovers, anybody that's dreaming to be an astronaut, go in space, uncharted territory, that would be cool. So I want you to read more in 2024, follow your dreams, and grow your brains. And I'll see you next time. This is Miss Gina. Bye-bye.